I have, but I will give anyone a very, very big gold star if they can spot what we have spotted in that thicket that you see over there. If anyone has any ideas as to where our little surprise is, it is incredibly difficult to see it, but just over here is where you need to look, and you see there is just a light little colored line there that is very tough to see, but we will go in slowly and you will see what is revealed as we do. There wobbles around a little lion cub feeding off its mother. So we have got the Nkuhuma female and her cubs. How cool is this, guys? Look how wet they are. Ooh, fighting now over the teats for milk. So it looks like all three of them are there. I've seen little heads popping up, but you can see they're wet, they must be cold, and they must be hungry. They obviously haven't fed for a day. We saw that this female was at the pride the whole day yesterday, so they must be very hungry, and that's why they're tucking into some milk. And especially in this cold weather, can you imagine those little ones yesterday must have been shivering with cold, and they've now been able to get a good meal, and that's going to help warm them up, and they're going to feel a lot better about life. But look how spotty their little heads are still. Super cute. I can't believe we actually have even spotted these things. It was very difficult to see them, and it was just pure luck, really. I was about to actually step out to use the facilities, basically, and I was looked over to my left and just saw something that I wasn't quite sure of that looked a bit liony, and so then we used the camera to punch in and saw the little cubs there as well. But she's very well camouflaged. It was just sheer luck that we managed to see her. There's no other way to put it. How wonderful is this, though? Look how cute that is. So cute, and I'm glad that they're doing well and that they're surviving. Often when you get a drastic change in temperature, it can be very dangerous for young animals. So you'll get a situation where all of a sudden you get this cold and you get this wet, and these little ones really battle with that. They sometimes can succumb to those kind of things. So it's great to see that they're doing okay, and that they are feeding, and that they are healthy and happy, and that they seem to be fairly feisty and active. So there's definitely all three of them. Look, they are still little. Those paws are tiny, tiny, tiny. Hey, little guys. Dr. Rob, you say you're going to die of a cuteness overload. I know, they are incredibly cute, aren't they? They are the most cutest things that you could imagine. Oh, super sweet, and they look as though there's one or two of them have had enough to eat, and maybe they're going to move around. I think they're using... Oh, look at that little face. Hello, little one. What's she doing? That's the little one, I think... No, that's not it. They've got lots of dirt on them, so I think they must be using this termite mound in front of me as the den site. There's a big termite mound here, and there's a little bit of dirt on their shoulders, so I think they're using the holes there. So you can see just here is where there is a hole in a termite mound, and there looks like a bit of disturbance coming down from that mound there. So I think she's putting them inside there and utilizing that to hide them. Particularly in this cold weather, a nice insulated mound is the best possible place for them. A little bit to your left, Senzo. Yeah, you can see them. Okay, cool. But you can see just how difficult it is to see them in that picture. They are very... Now, Andrew, you're wondering what pride this is? Well, this is the youngest female from the Nkuhuma pride that is got this cubs. And she's the only one in the Nkuhuma pride at the moment that's got small cubs. But it's her first litter, so it's amazing that she's doing well, and she's really considering how difficult it's been to find food and how difficult it has been for these individuals to find big food items. She's done so well to keep these little ones alive, considering it's her first litter. They're in areas where there's lots of other predators. Her instincts have been great, and she's probably very, very experienced from watching the other lionesses raising their cubs last year, and she's probably learned where there's good den sites, and that's stood her in good stead to be able to help out and to be able to keep her little cubs alive. Now, from where we are, there's really no other way to get anywhere closer, and I think we've got at least a very good view from where we are, and so we're just going to spend our time here and hope that once they've fed, they're going to get a little bit playful and maybe start moving around a bit more. It's funny that we've had a situation where I've been here twice, and both times the little cubs have been a bit obscured, but rather that in a thicket and obscured than having no visual of them at all. Just listening to the updates on the Styx Pride as well. It sounds like they've gone into Torchwood from Chitwa, which is interesting. So I'm sure they finished their meal and have gone that way, which is also, in a way, good for us because a lot of the guys are going to rush down that way. This is only a one-vehicle sighting. We can't have more than one vehicle here. They are of the age now where we can start checking the den like we did today, and we know that this lioness was coming here. The tracks were very evident that she was moving in this direction, so I was 99.9% sure that she was here, and that's why we moved here to come and check. And there we go. At least she's active, and we can spend time. You can see the cubs are in no way freaked out by a vehicle. She hasn't even lifted her head since I've been here. So it just goes to show that we can start spending a little bit of time with them. We'll just keep it a one-vehicle sighting for now, get these little ones used to us, not attract too much attention to the area, and then from there we're going to try and sort of introduce a second vehicle when they get a little bit older. So when they get to about 4 or 5 months, we'll try and start putting a second one in, and then slowly but surely introduce them to a third later in life. But very cool to see. How fluffy are they? And they're still so spotty, and those ears are absolutely tiny. They are super cute. Now, we're going to enjoy our little cubs feeding, but while we do that, let's go across to Taylor, who I think has got a tall giraffe. They are very cute, Taylor. I'm pretty sure you'll love to see these little ones, and by the time Taylor gets back, they should be moving around, hopefully quite close to the Pride, or at least coming to a few carcasses, and I'm sure Taylor's going to look forward to coming and seeing the Nkuhuma Pride females. I know she loves lions, and particularly the Nkuhuma Pride, so I'm sure she's super excited to see them. I remember when we first got news of them, her and I went out to try and find where the den was, and we spent hours with the Pride, and she was bouncing off the walls at the prospect of little Nkuhuma cubs. So I'm sure she's going to be happy to hear that they are healthy and well, but they've been quite feisty with one another. There's been a little bit of fighting and carrying on. I've moved slightly just so we can try get maybe a little bit of a clearer view, but as you can see, it didn't really work out as much as I wanted it to. It's difficult to get to where they are. I don't want to get any closer than what we are now. We're pretty much about, I would say, 15-20 meters away, so it's perfect distance, and the little ones are completely unperturbed by our presence. Even when I came in, I was just checking just to see how they would react, because I went over one stump and it didn't make too much of a noise, but it was just to see how they would react to that branch under the tire, and they didn't even flinch. They just carried on feeding. They looked at me maybe for 1 second and then carried on. So it really is quite cool to see that they have kind of already accepted vehicles, or so to speak, and because mom is chilled, well, then they're chilled, which is good news. But how cute are these little things? Look at the tiny paws. I was hoping when they repositioned like that we'd hear some squeaking, and that's why I was keeping quiet, is just to see if we heard the little lion cub squeaks, because it's the best sound in the world when they make that noise. It really is super cute. But like I say, you can see all three heads were there at one point, which is good news. Oh, you guys are super cute. You're going to be very, very, very sweet in the next couple of weeks. We're going to get some amazing sightings. I can feel it already. The nice thing is that she's denning really in the heart of Djuma. We're right in the center. We're far north, I suppose, up against the Buffelshoek boundary, but we're in the center of the property. So even if she moves them, I would imagine it's going to be south and north of these areas, or along these drainage lines, exactly where the Pride denned last year. And so we should have these little cubs at least for the next couple of weeks, which is fantastic news. And now that they're getting a little bit bigger and a little stronger and they're moving around, at least means that we are able to at least check for them a lot more. And you can see they're busy grooming mom's face. Oh, how cute is that? I know it's obscured, but it's still super cute. A little groom from the cubs. So Jake, you're asking if the rest of the pride would ever reject her cubs. No, they wouldn't. She will be very careful about introducing them. Obviously, we know that she has introduced them already, and the pride does know about them and has met them and has greeted them and the sub-adults. So none of them have rejected, but no, it doesn't really happen like that. You sometimes find, though, that females, when they have, especially in big prides, when they have their cubs, will often just break off and not go to that pride because the little ones get a bit bullied by those older ones, and they get a little bit of kind of mistreated and roughly handled, and that means that it's a little bit tougher. But look at them grooming. It's incredible to think that that lioness, that's her eye that we're seeing there, and her nose. So those cubs are about the size of her head, and it's crazy to think that if they are females, they'll end up one day that size, or if they're males, even bigger. It's incredible to think how much they grow from these tiny little balls of fluff. Oh, and look at it grooming mom with a little tongue. It's so sweet. We're being spoiled with baby animals this morning. Philip, in terms of teats that lionesses have, they have 4, and in terms of average litters, it's actually, the average litter is 4 cubs. We very seldom will get 2. That's not really that common. It's more 4, and they will have 4 teats. I have seen litters of 7. 7 is the most lions I've seen, but I have heard of 8 before. But 7 is the most that I've seen in cubs, and it's very difficult then because the cubs fight a lot over those teats, and the mom gets bothered quite often, and a lot of nutrients sucked from her. But generally the average is 4. Here in the Sabi sands over the last little bit, it seems like the average is probably, I would say, 3. Most of the females that I've seen give birth have had 3 cubs, so 3 seems to be quite common as well. But if you read books most of the time, it'll say average 4 cubs. I think it's time for sleep. Nice bit of milk, and now sleeping time. Oh, look at them cuddling up together. So Jake, difficult one. I think given the current climate, their first taste of meat will be probably, I would say, in about, they're so small still, so I'd say 6 weeks until they actually start eating again. And what that would be very difficult to say. I mean, they might get, I think if it's anything, it's going to be a larger carcass. So normally it's something like a buffalo where she can go, she can suckle them, bring them back to the carcass, and that's where they can get introduced to meat. Things like a wildebeest or a nyala or a kudu or even something like an impala generally gets eaten so fast by this pride because of how many mouths there are. Remember, it's 5 females and 6 sub-adults, plus generally a Birmingham male is somewhere in that vicinity, and it means they have to have really big carcasses for her to go away and get back to the cubs and take them back and still have some meat. So I think a buffalo carcass will be the first one, and hopefully that will be in about, I would say about 6 weeks until we see them at a carcass. They're still a little bit young for that. But look at that face. Is that not the cutest thing? Look at the little nose and mouth and tiny spotty head. So you can see lion cubs are actually spotty when they're born, and that's just to help with camouflage and to be able to blend in a little bit. But how beautiful is that? It's a pity all the vegetation is there, but that's okay. And still, to see one of them is super special. And look at how it's falling asleep as well. That head is getting heavy. Shame, little one. Are you tired? Oh, there we go. I'm going to fall asleep right here. Full belly, tired eyes, and so it's about to sleep. Now, I'm not the only one that's having a baby predator bonanza. It seems Jamie has joined in too. Well, it has, Jamie. It's been a very, very cute baby cub-filled morning. It's been wonderful, really. It's been so nice here on Djuma also to now find the hyena den again and see those little ones that are so active and playful, and that they're in a beautiful den. That Aubrey's den really is wonderful. It's got very nice kind of views all the way around it, and it's nice and open, so it's going to be wonderful to spend time there. And well, our lion cubs are not so open, but it's still very, very cool to have found them and at least to know where they are, because I think this afternoon we'll still be here. They're going to spend a lot of time in this area. I'm pretty sure this mound that we're up against is where she's keeping them, or if not here, there's a lot of little drainages and fallen over trees that she can go into and use those to hide these little cubs. But the cubs are pretty much not even visible anymore. They are lying down just to the right of her. So that's where her head is, and then the cubs are sprawled out kind of to the right-hand side there. So I'm going to leave them fairly shortly. They are sleepy, they're resting. I don't want to disturb them anymore. We got such a nice sighting of them suckling, and hopefully this afternoon she's going to come out just to the left of where she is now. So if we see just slightly to the left, there is a beautiful open clearing right there. So I'm hoping that this afternoon she's going to lie there. So we'll come there later and have a little look and see if we can get a better view of these little cubs. But we've been absolutely spoiled this morning, so we're going to probably carry on and try and find some other things to look at, because like I say, these guys are flat, they're sleeping, and well, we've gotten wanted to just get them used to us. I don't want them to get, nervous or anything, and ultimately at the end of the day we've been given a glimpse at them, and so that's all we could ask for really, is to have a little glimpse and then to be able to get out without disturbing them.